My question for that is the All-Star game is trying to do so much. I mean, the NBA All-Star game, new format, in-season tournament, new format. Is the NBA again in trouble? That's that's
I I
that's the
I
ultimate question.
I think I don't think the NBA is in trouble. I think the NBA is trying to figure out who they're going to be in the next quarter of a century due to technology advancing, due to the fact that people have cut the cord on cable. Like everyone's reacting to the broadcast numbers. People don't consume basketball the same way anymore. So
Yep.
I have a problem with people who think they know the game when they're just watching highlights and looking at box scores, right? So you need to
Absolutely.
consume, you need to watch basketball. Now, how you're watching it is a different story. You could be
Right.
streaming it through League Pass on your phone. You could be, there's all different ways to watch games. I think that's confused people in many ways, right? Especially the generation older than us who can't figure out how to, you know, deal with that technology. But the content at your fingertips on your phone, in terms of the popularity of the game, how that has spread globally, obviously a ton more over the last decade due to technology and social media. Um, but the NBA has also realized that it has to um, keep a level of intrigue and it has to keep a level of popularity. And a lot of these things have to do with marketing and growing the game. And I think it's easy for us to sit back and criticize trial and error. Um, I loved the All Star game when we were young. You had the best players in the game out there competing. Were they playing 1,000% all the time? No. But, you know, through when Jordan played in his last All Star game and he made that turnaround jumper on the baseline that should have won the
Yeah.
game in
Yeah.
2003, and I believe KG was the MVP of that All Star game. Um, that was highly competitive and a
Yeah.
lot of fun. And you know, did it remain competitive after that? Yeah, for a little while, but it's something that's turned into an exhibition. It's something that's turned into a fan experience, a brand experience, a marketing experience. It's almost turned into a summit for the
Yeah.
weekend,
Yep.
where the last thing anybody cares about anymore is the actual competition on the court. So,
Yeah.
is that a problem? Yes. But the question you have to ask now, guys, is what is the goal of the weekend now? Because the goal of the weekend, I don't think for a long time, has been to have a competitive All Star game. The goal of the weekend is everything else that's gone on around it. And between the contracts, between load management, between players focused on their brand and everything they're doing off the court, all of that plays into not having a competitive All Star game, not just the format.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, the last thing I'll
And
say on
check.
this, and credit, and William, you mentioned Unrivaled at the top, right? And Unrivaled now has been the thing that's gotten the NBA to look at the one-on-one thing. KG has been saying since we launched KG Certified in 2022, roll out the basketballs on All-Star Weekend and let's see who wants to get it. Check up for $10 million.
Yep.
He's been
Yep.
saying it since
Yep.
2022 on his show. And now that Unrivaled has done it and done it successfully, now it's got everybody's attention. Would that be intriguing to watch? Would that be awesome?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. It would be great.
Yes.
So maybe that is something they implement. But I'm not going to say the NBA is in trouble or has a problem because of the All Star
Maybe that
format
was
and the
too strong of a word.
no, but everybody was freaking out once we were a couple of months into the season about what the TV numbers were looking like. And I'll say this, I said this on another show. Brian Windhorst, who I respect as a journalist, he's been covering LeBron James for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely does Brian Windhorst get it wrong. Um, he was interviewed, and I think the article was an awful announcing. And you know what Brian Windhorst said? He said the NBA has a storytelling problem. And it goes back to what we were talking about a little earlier with the relationships with the media and wanting to put things out there that are getting clicks or that are highlight driven without context, nuance, deep reporting, and telling other kinds of stories. And I think that's something that also plays into the quote of the NBA has a problem or the NBA is in trouble. The NBA is in a great place. I'd like to see more rivalries emerge. But that's going to take a while because these guys are all friends off the court. That ties back, as we know, to AAU in many ways. And we're in a different generation. So
we are in a different generation.
You know, we can criticize this generation, but I'd rather celebrate it along with also making sure that the past generations get their proper respect and due, because we're not here today without them, as we all know.
That's absolutely. Right. And I'm going to say this too. I do agree with you. We need to celebrate that generation because I don't want to play against them. Them dudes are bigger, faster, stronger. They jump higher. This new generation is just incredible. And speaking of this new generation, man, let's jump into the second half of the season.